What's good, everybody? And today I am here as a sort of PSA, an announcement to everybody in the Duet Tabethe community. If it is a brand new week, and if you're sitting there thinking, I don't know who in the Nocturnal Echoes I want to be grinding for this week, I am here to tell you, stop whatever you're doing. You need to be grinding out Tabitha right now.
The butterfly.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Are we going on an adventure today?
This little shit right here, Tabitha, who, I'll be real, not my favorite look in the game. I kind of ignored her because I purely hated her design and the way that she looked. But when I saw what her kit was capable of, I was like, she's got to be the one that I farm for. Next week in the next Nocturnal Echoes. You can farm her by doing, let me grab the Nocturnal Echoes. You could farm her by doing Sybil. Okay, level 50 Sybil, very easy to do. It took me like between 15 and 20 secret letters to do it, but I managed to unlock it all in one go, and it didn't take very long at all. So if you're wondering who to get, you should get Tabitha. And I'm gonna tell you exactly why.
Today.
She is a Hydro character, so immediately your brain is gonna be thinking she's gonna pair well with Rebecca, and you would be right. And you would be right to assume that. But it gets really interesting. Let's take a look at her kit for a second, right? We have a buff right here. Tabitha's specialty commands all summon tentacles to attack once, increasing their damage dealt. Also grants self and allies a boost to skill damage. So basically the way that Tabitha works is she will summon a bunch of tentacles, okay? Either via a ranged attack, a tentacle will spawn, or she could use the summon ability, which summons 9 of them all in one go. Okay, that's how it works. You with a range attack, you summon a tentacle, or the summon that summons all 9. Okay, and these tentacles are very interesting, and they're very cool. They can like grab enemies and like stop them from moving, so it kind of acts as like a little bit of a physical shield for you. But importantly, it grants Tabitha and allies a boost to skill damage, and that skill damage boost is 36% for 10 seconds. 36% skill damage boost is crazy. That's super goddamn high. But it gets even better than this. If you look at her passive, okay, you look into her passive, she also has an increased skill damage for self and allies for an additional 8%, like a constant 8%. So for like 10 seconds at a time, you're going to be getting like 44% skill damage bonus just by using Tabitha, which is a lot. And characters that, there are a lot of characters that will benefit from this. But for me, her and Lynn go together so nicely, it's unreal. Like actually amazingly well. But let's take, another look into Tabitha's kit real quick. So you can see in her passive, dealing crit damage using a ranged weapon has a chance to summon 1 tentacle near the target, which can only be triggered once per second. A maximum of 18 tentacles can exist at the same time. So you get 9 from doing the summon ability, and you get an extra 9 by using the range attacks once every 9 seconds, and they have to do crit damage. Okay, so you want them to be critting. And with the summon tentacles, inherits 100% of Tabitha's stats, continuously dealing hydro damage to nearby enemies and capturing up to 2 enemies to immobilize them. These tentacles, like I said, will grab people and hold them and immobilize them, which if you're playing Lynn is really cool because that means no one's coming up to physically attack you if you're surrounded by tentacles, which is goddamn bloody cool. Now, of course, for Tabitha to work, especially if you have her as a combat partner, you might be thinking, well, what weapon am I going to use? And it's a very, very cut and dry, easy choice. You're going to be wanting the good old buff bow, okay? Arclight Apocalypsis. Skill duration plus 15%. That's super important when it comes to Tabitha. Skill duration and skill efficiency. You want to be stacking up on that as much as possible in her demon wedges. Landing a crit hit with this weapon randomly grants other allies one of the following for 16 seconds. 10% attack, death, skill damage, or skill duration. All of those things are going to be useful for basically any of your DPSs. This is just a really good support like weapon to begin with because this weapon skill is really, really good. And for it to work properly, you have to stack it with crit. That's all I did. The only thing you can, this isn't about dealing damage. You just want this bow to crit, because if you crit, you get one of these buffs, and then Tabitha is able to fully utilize her abilities and place down 9 more tentacles for you to deal more skill damage for your main DPS. So make sure you stack as much crit as possible. So basically every time she shoots, you're gaining a tentacle. That's really how this is gonna be working. And like I said, I have paired Tabitha. I'll show you my demon wedges that I've got. Okay, here we are. Prime Serenity, obviously restore sanity by 7 for you and your teammates. I have some. I'm not too set in stone on these demon wedges. I'll probably mess around with them a bit more and have like a better, you know, feel for what works. But right now, this is working. For me, right now, this is working and I'm keeping it, and I'm going to mess around with it more. But here's what I've got going on so far. So I've got my sanity, restore, that's all good stuff. Skill efficiency, insanity, skill efficiency, and some skill duration. Like I said, I've just stacked the skill duration and the skill efficiency. We're at 146%, 126%. And this is massively going to help my Lynn, who I adore. All these characters I have in Tron Zero, I haven't got dupes of anyone so far. And what I've done is I'm turning Lynn into a bit of a machine. I've even started to use some of my tracks. I've been doing some experimentation. I know I did the cardinal sin of using my tracks, but I'm trying to figure some things out right now. And this is what we're rocking with. 142% skill damage, 106 skill duration, 128 skill efficiency. On my Lynn, obviously we have consonants weapons, all this good stuff. Again, subject to change. All of this is subject to change, but I decided to take these characters out for a spin in the immersive theater. And oh my god. All I'm gonna say, this performs basically as well as my Psyche team. Yeah, this team, I'm just saying it right now, this team is performing just as good as my Psyche team. This is the immortal act, okay? Obviously these enemies are like level 74. Let me just show you. Let me just show you this video of how this is turning out right now, okay? So this is trial 3. I have Margie, Tabitha, and I have Lynn.
I'm gonna kick
obviously Margie does a lot of attack bonus, Tabitha with a skill damage bonus, and my Lynn is literally just like the speed at which she guns down enemies is like a sight to behold. It's insane. Like, it's so quick. It's so quick. I am doing a lot of misplays at this point. You should as soon as enemies get close to you as Lynn, just move. Okay, that's how there we go. Tabitha is getting out her summons, getting out her tentacles, doing all the good stuff, and every time they attack, you get a boost to your skill damage bonus up to 36% plus the 44% skill damage bonus, and it's just a lot. It's just a lot. And we can see here even more. This is a good example, I think, of right here, Tabitha putting up the tentacles. There we go, there's a tentacle right there. So she's using the ranged weapon. She's gonna summon them right by my feet right now. She's gonna summon all of them.
Take this where you belong.
Where are they? Summon the tentacles.
Let's play a game together.
There we go. There's the tentacle. Now we have a shield. Now we sorry, I'm still sick. Now we have a physical shield of tentacles that will grab the enemies that are surrounding Lynn. I wanted to wait to see if this would happen. That's why I'm standing on the ground here next to Tabitha. I want to see if this would work. They physically grab the enemies around Lynn and immobilize them so Lynn doesn't get hit. So you can continue to pop off doing damage and you don't have to like take a break to run away. Because as you know, if you play Lynn, as soon as you press Q, it takes a couple seconds for her to ramp up to her full attack speed, right? So this gives you a little bit more time before you have to move, which is always a W. More DPS is always a good thing. See, look at that. They're picking up all the enemies around her. And then obviously I'm getting hit, so I move away. And this carried on all the way until I got to Sybil. But here, I just couldn't do enough damage. Lynn is really, really good big waves and mobs of enemies, but kind of falls short a little bit when it comes to one-on-one fights. This Psyche is much better for like the one-on-one fights, but this was like where it kind of came apart a bit of this fight. There was no like sweat at all for the actual waves of enemies. I could have gone to the next act and continued to blast through these waves of enemies. It really was just I just didn't have enough DPS for the bosses itself with Lyn, which is something to work on and something to keep note about. Okay, let's keep note about. But this was really, really fun. And again, this is a level 60 character. I'm not trial rank 55 yet. So if you're wondering who to use in immersive theater, you don't have Psyche yet, Lyn is such a good choice. Get Lyn, get Tabitha right now, the Nocturnal Echo reset, and be happy. Be happy. It's honestly just fun. Playing Lyn, I feel like I have the most fun, and I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. So that's my recommendation right now. Tabitha is going to be good on so many other characters as well, so she's good to have and build, keep in your back pocket. And of course, there's no harm about it because, you know, it's everything gives you trial XP. The only downside is you can only farm it like 5 times a week with the Nocturnal Echoes. So if you want to get a good support character pretty early and you haven't used them yet, pull her. I say pull her like it's a gacha game. It's not a gacha game. You can farm her. So thumbs up. I appreciate y'all. If you've been enjoying these videos, I'd appreciate if you drop a sub. It helps me out immensely. Also a like and a comment and lets me know that you guys are wanting more videos. It's so funny. When I first started making gacha videos, I was just making silly videos. Silly funny haha videos. And I literally said, I will never make guides. I will never make tips and tricks. Oh how wrong I was. A year and a half later, almost 2 years. Oh, how wrong I was. I'm loving doing 9 bits, guys. I appreciate y'all. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Twitch.tv/Captain Cabinetz, Captain Cabinetz.